Two bros chilling in the hot tub.
You the twos and we the ones? Well, you are the biggest two of them all, my dog. That's what you are. You are a giant number two.
Yo, what's going on, guys? Welcome to a brand new episode of the Two Bros Podcast. As always, I'm Bryce, and I am joined by...
I'm Matt, and it looks like I have a buddy here, I guess. I don't know what's going on with him.
I don't know. We got a lot of stuff planned for you today because we are going to talk about the draft.
No, I'm definitely very excited. We got a lot of good stuff to talk about.
We're going to talk about the NBA, but I don't know if you guys are paying attention to anything right now in the Sirius XM radio world.
First off, who actually listens to Sirius XM radio?
No, hold on. Hold on. That's not why I was saying it. I don't know why mine's not loading. But I was on X today, and I saw that Kenny Beecham now has an hour on Sirius XM every day or every once in a while. So, Frank Isola this morning, on his radio show that he does with Brian Scalabrine, was told to read a promotional ad for Kenny Beecham's new hour. And he went off. He said, "Why do I have to do this? Why do I have to promote somebody else? Why do I have to promote a content creator who doesn't have my following?" And Brian Scalabrine just basically told Frank Isola that he's barking up the wrong tree, trying to say Kenny Beecham has no relevance. You and I are both
Frank Isola.
very well.
Okay, so
He's on P.
is this Frank
And
Isola?
yes, Frank Isola is on Pardon the Interruption, and his thing.
That's his follower count on Instagram.
And his thing was, once Kenny Beecham is on Pardon the Interruption or Around the Horn, then he can actually have my spot.
There's Kenny's.
Oh, I know. Trust me. You and I are massive.
As someone who's a big fan of his, who follow, by the way, who follows him?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah.
Like,
He's somebody who's responded to me on social media.
Let's take a look at one of the people who does follow him. Donovan Mitchell.
Mm-hmm.
You know who Donovan Mitchell doesn't follow?
Oh, and everybody. Tyrese Halliburton is in support of him. Other NBA players are in support of him.
Who I
Or
follow, who
YouTubers.
does follow him, is Mina Kimes, and that's because she's another analyst.
Mhm.
That's all.
But there's nothing but support right now on social media for Kenny Beecham
And he's the GOAT.
and Tyrese Halliburton, Paul George, Legend of Winning. Other Danny 2K was supportive, and I know you went on a rant about Danny 2K, but guess what?
Danny's cool.
He is a creator who we are all creators. You and me, we're creators. Frank Isola is a sports content creator, whether he wants to admit it. He is. Just because you have a radio show and you don't do it on YouTube does not mean you are not a content creator. You talk sports. You talk sports. You get paid for the content you talk about. Hence, you are a sports content creator. I'm so sick of gatekeeping in everything. And gatekeeping is really big in the sports world, where they have their own traditions and nobody else can break them. And the second they break them, it's automatically they're the worst person in the world. Guess what, Kenny? Every sports content creator has your back. I will tell you that right now. This is a guy who, Kenny Beecham, just talks basketball. He has no drama, no scandals, doesn't like to make drama, just likes to talk basketball.
Dude, I was just watching his Suns rebuild today. He's so much fun to watch.
Yeah.
Like, everyone knows what's it called? Numbers on the board is amazing.
Yeah, numbers on the board is
Anything he
fantastic.
does is just it's gold.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. But that was the little Frank Isola rant. And now, I think this is the news you wanted to talk about with the NBA today. Because I'm going to let you take this away. I'm going to let you take
The NBA has disclosed to its 30 general managers a new anti-tanking reform termed 3-2-1 lottery that includes expanding the lottery to 16 teams, flattened odds in a regulation zone where the bottom 3 teams will be penalized with fewer lottery balls for the number 1 pick starting in 2027. Teams that do not qualify for the playoffs or play-in tournament but stay out of the relegation zone, spots 4 to 10 will get 3 lottery balls each. Teams with a bottom 3 record, the relegation area, would get just 2 lottery balls but have a floor of the 12th, while the rest of the 13 could fall as far as the 16th pick.
So the teams that go
In my He's crawling in my hamper right now. He knocked it over and he's crawling in.
Gotta love
Sorry, keep going. I'm going to stop him from doing that.
Okay, so basically what this means is if you have pick 4 through 10, you get 3 lottery balls. If you have picks 1 through 3, you have 2 lottery balls. And if you are picks 11 through 16, you are going to have 1 ball. And I don't know if this is necessarily the solution to prevent tanking. I don't.
Not at all.
Now
So
you
here's
have
the other problem.
you can have every
If we're
team
gonna-
picking for 4 through
We're
10
going
now.
to institute this. We're punishing a team like the Pacers, who had Tyrese Halliburton tear his ACL.
Mhm.
Was his ACL or Achilles?
Achilles.
Achilles, who had Tyrese Halliburton tear something, who were just bad. The Kings, who were just bad. They weren't sitting guys. They were just bad teams. I understand it. The Jazz, yeah, they were tanking. The Wizards were tanking. There are teams that are just genuinely terrible. I remember when my Cavaliers got Kyrie Irving. They were a terrible team. It's just because LeBron James left. Like, their star player left. Imagine this, right? I'm going to use a team who's pretty much held up by one individual player. If Devin Booker were to leave the Suns this offseason, and they're stuck with Jalen Green and Dalen Brooks as their number 1, number 2 guys, they would be atrocious. Or if, let's just say, if Jokic were to leave Denver, they would be a bad team.
Mm-hmm.
You're going to punish them, the bottom 3 teams, who are the worst 3 teams, by making them less likely to be the number 1 overall pick. You're just going to have teams tanking and then making sure they win a few games.
Mm-hmm.
And you know what's going to happen is every single team's going to do the same thing. You're going to be really, really bad, and you're going to play well for the last 10 games.
Yep.
Congratulations. FanDuel gets a little bit more of a boost because the last 10 games. It's not going to stop tanking. If anything, it's going to make it worse because these players who are going to sit for like weeks, days, and weeks on end are going to have to play multiple games straight, which is going to lead to injuries.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And
So stupid.
I feel like every trade proposed, or every proposal nobody's ever liked, but this is definitely the worst option possible. Outside of literally doing nothing. Actually, I think I'd much rather them do nothing than what they're doing now.
I think you almost have to do that.
Like, it's ridiculous. I get tanking is bad. Tanking is really, it's horrible for the NBA.
And here's what's funny to me. You have a team like, if I am, what's it called? I would say the Nets. I'm pissed because the Nets are just not very good.
The
They
Bulls are
draft
bad.
a lot. What was that?
The Bulls are bad. The Grizzlies are
The
bad.
Bulls played their players. The Bulls played their guys. They weren't sitting people. They're just a bad team.
Mm-hmm.
And the Nets are really young. Imagine punishing a team for being really young.
Yeah, that's exactly what this is.
If you do that, the Thunder don't have the picks they do.
Mm-hmm.
The Rockets, the Jazz don't have the picks they do. The Spurs don't have the players they do. The Spurs don't get Wemby.
Yeah.
And also, you're going to talk about tanking when you actively are rigging the lottery.
I don't know.
Because there's no way the Mavericks get that number 1 pick. There's no way the Spurs get that number 1 pick. As you're actively rigging the lottery for teams that are a higher market, you're going to discourage tanking amongst teams like the Jazz and the Wizards who don't have the number, who don't have the pull to get superstars in free agency.
That's what teams.
You are making it where only the Knicks, the Spurs, the Lakers, and the Celtics are good.
Yep.
And you're a Lakers fan, and you'll admit that. And this is what's crazy to me.
Yep.
As a Cavaliers fan, if Donovan Mitchell and James Harden were to leave, we'd be left with Evan Mobley. I'm sorry, Evan Mobley's not good enough. Because they are not a market to get free agents, they need to build through the draft. And that's just ridiculous.
Here's my thing. Just eliminate the draft lottery. Eliminate the draft lottery.
Why are we not doing what the NFL does? The NFL does it the right way. Just make it whatever team is the worst. But you want to know why they won't do that? Because there's too much money in the event of the draft lottery. They have to put it on TV. The NFL makes significantly more money than the NBA ever will, and they don't have a draft lottery.
Yeah. And the NFL does things the right way. Say what we will. Most of the time. Like a lot of the ways they do things, their draft is perfect, the playoff system is perfect. It's actually perfect. The Super Bowl is the most watched event of the year.
So I agree, but I would say in basketball, the reason I'm okay with it being a 7-game series.
Me too.
Because first, a perfect example, right? Let's just talk about what's it called? Imagine if the Suns knocked off the Thunder in game 1. And it was a 1-game series. The Thunder would have, if the Suns still won game 1, the Thunder win the series 4-1.
Oh no. I think the playoff format is perfect in the NBA, MLB, and the NFL. I think it's perfect in those. But the one I don't think it is perfect in is the NHL. But we're going to get to the NHL later. I didn't put it in here, but we're going to talk about it because it involves both of our teams. But Brad Stevens was named 2025-2026 NBA Executive of the Year after building a team that was second in the East without most of their star for most of the year. Was this the right?
It was the only decision. This team managed to move off of Drew Holiday, Kristaps Porzingis. Oh, sorry, Kristaps was years ago. Drew Holiday in the offseason got better. They don't have Jason Tatum.
No, Kristaps was this year.
Right,
They traded him to Atlanta in the offseason.
This year. They moved off of in the offseason. They brought in Anthony Simons, who then they managed to move for Nikola Vucevic, who has been amazing for them, by the way. This team was built so well. And I think a lot of people think about Executive of the Year is just for players. No, it's also for other coach signings. The fact that Brad Stevens put the team around Ime Udoka.
Joe Mazzulla.
Sorry, Joe Mazzulla. I'm thinking about Ime Udoka because he was there a few years ago. The fact that Brad Stevens put the team around Joe Mazzulla, it's proof in the pudding why he deserves this. There is no better move made than what the Celtics did this offseason.
I think Atlanta
was great. I will be honest. Atlanta is great. If anything, Atlanta points more towards the coach. I think Atlanta points more towards the coach.
I think the Celtics just should get they shouldn't get an award because they're the Boston Celtics. I don't think. I don't think it does it. Yeah, no, my Boston bias, my Boston hatred will come here.
You should say the Lakers can't get any award as well.
No, the Lakers deserve the awards. The Celtics don't.
Okay, we're gonna move on.
Alrighty. Speaking of the Dallas Mavericks, Cooper Flagg was named the 2025-2026 NBA Rookie of the Year after posting a 21 point per game, 6.7 rebound per game, 4.5 assists per game, 1.2 steal per game, 46.8% from the field rookie year. He was the first teenager to score 50 plus in a game, the first rookie since Michael Jordan to have multiple 45-point games, and he did that 3 times.
I understand that Coop had an amazing rookie year. Khan had a historic rookie year. And I'm sorry, I think that it had to be Khan.
Coop did!
I understand, but Khan literally broke many records.
So did Cooper Flagg!
I'm sorry, when you break the rookie 3-point shooting record, for me, Khan Knippel wins it. I think Cooper Flagg was elite. It was a 1A, 1B situation, but I think Khan should have won rookie.
Can we just talk about this? We talked about this earlier, but this might be the greatest draft class we've ever seen.
It could go down as that because VJ Edgecombe. You put VJ Edgecombe in any other draft class,
he's number 1
of the year. You take the 3 next guys past Coop, and they win rookie of the year before this.
Yeah, Khan wins rookie of the year in any draft class ever. Not naming 03 and 84.
Or Wemby. No one was going to take Wemby.
Well, yeah. I do think Cooper was better as a rookie than Wemby.
Coward would have won last year. What's his name? Derek Queen wins last year. Jeremiah Fears probably wins last year.
Yeah.
This was full of so much talent, and it's insane.
We're even forgetting Ace Bailey. Ace Bailey was so good. Trey Johnson was underrated. Yeah, Trey Johnson was underrated. Dylan Harper. Yeah, Dylan Harper's a guy. They're averaging. Dylan Harper, Dylan Harper's not averaging 20. It's Stephon Castle, De'Aaron Fox, and Wemby all averaging.
Dylan Harper could have won 6 Man of the Year.
He could have. He could have. This is insane.
This draft class is going to go down as
Okay. Now we're going to talk about a team that actually matters because the first 2 teams we talked about have the most irrelevant histories in basketball. Austin Reeves is optimistic to return in Game 5. Does it really matter if Austin Reeves returns in Game 5?
Yeah, I actually think it does. I think that this Rockets team figured out how to slow down the Lakers with just LeBron. Basically, you kind of have to take away their big man play. If Austin Reeves comes back, is it tonight or tomorrow?
Tomorrow.
If Austin Reeves comes back, I think that's pretty much done deal. No, I think it's tonight because never mind. I think if Austin Reeves plays tonight, it's a done deal.
Yeah,
I think they win this series just because you have such versatility. Sadly, Luka probably won't be back until mid next round.
But it's tomorrow.
To see it's tomorrow. Oh, so you got to change that.
Yeah, I wrote it wrong.
I'm very intrigued to see just how the Lakers look, even if Reeves isn't in there. I think they probably win, but I think it's a guarantee win if Reeves plays.
Yeah, I honestly don't think they need him. I don't. This team was up 3-1. I'm not concerned about the Lakers in the first round at all. I'm not. I think they're going to win the series regardless. You don't lose a series down 3-1 unless you're the Golden State Warriors or a Doc Rivers-led team. And this is neither one of them. This is neither. And LeBron's there, so he's not going to blow a 3-1 lead. But Austin Reeves coming back definitely helps them, but they don't need him this round. They don't. He can just sit back and wait for whoever they play next round. And it's probably going to be OKC. Who, speaking of OKC, the Phoenix Suns get swept by the Oklahoma City by the Oklahoma City Thunder after a 131-122 loss in game.
Yeah, that was kind of clear. You know what? This thing, like I had mentioned Kenny doing the Suns rebuild. I really think this team needs to blow it up.
They do.
In his rebuild, he kept Devin Booker around for the entire time. This team needs to shake it up, and I believe Devin Booker is a great number 2. I don't think he's a number 1. Dylan Brooks is just too old. Let him be a defender on a good playoff team. And Jalen Green, I don't know if he's a future superstar. So I think you blow it up. Let Kaman Maluak be your young player to build around. Keep Colin Gillespie. I just think this team needs to shake it up and be done. Because you're not going to win with Devin Booker as your guy. And this showed no matter what. They put up outstanding points. They put up really, really good games. And they still couldn't take a single game against OKC. And a series we're going to probably next shows why this team needs to blow it up.
Yeah. Now, the Magic are up 3-1 after a 94-88 win over the Detroit Pistons. Who does this say more about? The Magic being good or the Pistons being overrated?
To me, this fully talks about the Pistons offense. And I'm sorry, I think the biggest loser from this series is Jalen Duren. He may not get that max extension he thinks he's going to get.
No.
I'm a big Jalen Duren fan. I think he is a much better player than when he's playing like this series. But like Jared Allen a few years ago, the lights are too bright. So I think Jalen Duren is probably going to find himself kind of having a Jonathan Kuminga offseason instead of a offseason he thinks he's going to have. But I really think this speaks heavily on how the Pistons are super awful offensively. And this is coming from another really bad offensive team. And even if, let's just say the Pistons turn it around and they win this series, I don't know if I trust them to beat Cleveland.
I don't. Speaking of, are they up, Cleveland?
It's 2-2.
So it's tied. So they tied it back up in Toronto.
Yeah, I will say, as a Cavs fan, I'm actually not too worried about it. Cleveland's amazing at defending their home. I think if it goes to 7, Cleveland wins this. I still think they win this in 6. But no, I just don't know if you can trust Detroit to get past. No matter what, they wouldn't sniff Boston.
No.
But if they got past Orlando and Cleveland, it's for them. Yeah. So this shows them that they probably need to let Jalen Duren walk.
Yeah. Well, I don't think they let him walk.
What you're seeing is you're much better with Isaiah Stewart on the floor. Like significantly better with Isaiah Stewart, who plays really good defense.
I just don't know if you give Jalen Duren the supermax that he's up for.
But here's the thing. The Pistons won't give him it, but I think there'll be a team who will. There'll be a team who sees a 24-year-old center who was an all-star, like your Lakers. And I don't know if Detroit matches that.
Honestly, I think he would work in LA. I honestly think he really would. And there were Lakers fans clamoring for Jalen Duren in the offseason instead of DeAndre Ayton. And I think if DeAndre Ayton if Jalen Duren was a Laker, this season would have gone totally different for them. I do think they're better. I don't think Cade is on the level that Luka is, obviously. Cade Cunningham will never be on the level that Luka is. Luka is probably one of the 2 or 3. He's one of the top 5 greatest offensive engines in NBA history.
So the last thing I'm going to say on the Jalen Duren thing, because we kind of got derailed, is I actually think he would be better suited with the Clippers if we're talking LA teams. He's young enough to where he fits the Clippers timeline because we know they're going to exile Kawhi. They're going to banish him to the Netherlands.
Oh no! Reports I'm hearing is that Adam Silver is going to do nothing.
So that means they're going to trade him because
no, they're going to do nothing.
What do you mean? They're not going to do anything to Kawhi?
They're not going to do anything to Kawhi.
Yeah, that means he's going to get traded. So I think he fits the Clippers timeline a lot better because he's still not there.
And they're going to do nothing to Clippers either. That's what I'm hearing.
He needs I say at least 2 to 3 more years before he is the full Jalen Duren who we think will be a talented player. The Lakers are ready to win now. And I think this Darius Garland, Benedict Mathurin, and Jalen Duren team could really make some waves in about 3 to 4 years.
Could Steve Ballmer deal with the Clippers being absolutely bottom feeder for the
he's
next
gonna have
2 years?
They're going to be atrocious next year.
That's true. Next, we're going to just lump these two together. I meant to write them both together. But Dante DiVincenzo tore his Achilles a minute into Game 4 and will miss the rest of the season and potentially all of next regular season. I would point something out. The last 4 players that have torn their Achilles in the playoffs have all worn number 0.
Yeah.
Dame, Halliburton, Dante DiVincenzo.
And Dame's not even back.
Stop wearing the number 0.
We talking how crazy that is? Dame tore his Achilles before Tatum tore his Achilles. And he's still not back yet.
Yeah, I know. That's insane. But what do you think this is going to do for the Timberwolves? And also, Anthony Edwards is dealing with hyperextension and a bone bruise in his left knee. They are up 3-2 right now. What do you think this does for the rest of their series?
I think the Saints playing pissed off enough that they're going to still win. I don't know if Denver has the firepower to handle the smothering defense that Rudy Gobert and Jaden McDaniels offer. Ayo Dosunmu and Julius Randle offer a really talented 1-2 punch. And honestly, I hate saying it, but Dosunmu is probably the number 1 right now.
I think he is.
I think, in my opinion, there's better coaching out of Minnesota as well. So I think that this goes to 7. I think this goes to 7, but I think Minnesota still wins this, and we see Ant come back mid-next round.
Yeah.
To be honest, especially for you, you need Minnesota to win this because that means they play OKC.
Yeah. And for me, I think that what happened to the Nuggets is letting Mike Malone go was the worst mistake they could have done. Mike Malone was the coach that held this team together, and I don't think that MPJ trade happens if Mike Malone is the head coach.
I don't have an issue with Cam Johnson at all. I will say this is where you need a tertiary scorer.
Yeah.
Because Christian Brown isn't that guy. Aaron Gordon's injured. Michael Porter Jr. would give you good defense and great scoring. And this
not good defense.
One series.
Not good defense.
What was that?
Not good defense, but his scoring would be
good enough defense. We saw him play very decent defense in Brooklyn this year. He held his own. I don't think it'd be as good of defense as Cam Johnson, but I'm sorry, the scoring he brings you is much more impactful, especially on a team that has very good defenders in Aaron Gordon and players off of your bench. I really think you needed Michael Porter Jr. much more than you needed Cam Johnson right now.
Here's my thing. Is Anthony Edwards and Dante DiVincenzo not being there the reason why Jokic shot 7 for 20 from the field?
No, it's solely on Rudy Gobert. We need to give some
Rudy
respect
Gobert. I'm changing my tune on Rudy Gobert. I think it's time. And I've been Rudy Gobert, the biggest Rudy Gobert hater outside of Derek Mills.
Demily hates him.
But we need to start giving this man his flowers. He is the sole reason that the Timberwolves are playing as good as they are. Julius Randle needs to start getting some love too, because he's had some playoff stinkers, but he's starting to show why he got all that money all those years ago. He's starting to show that he is a valuable NBA player come playoff time. They could be fine. Obviously, they could be fine without Dante DiVincenzo. Anthony Edwards hurts them long term. I do think that it's enough for them to win this series without Anthony Edwards. I do think whoever they face next, it'll be a struggle because whether it's OKC or San Antonio,
it'll probably be OKC. And you playing OKC when you have Anthony Edwards, it feels like a death sentence. Without Anthony Edwards, this is going to be a bloodbath. I feel like with Anthony Edwards, you can steal a game. Without it, it's a 30-point victory each game.
Yeah. Okay, now we're going to talk about Franz Wagner because last night he suffered a right calf strain, and his status for the closeout Game 5 is now in doubt. Do you think the Magic win this game without Franz Wagner?
Oh, yeah. He hasn't even been their best player this series, if I'm being totally honest.
Paolo's turned it around. Paolo's been really good this series.
He hasn't even been their best player this series. It's been Anthony Black.
Yeah, and people are saying that Jamal Cain needs to be arrested.
Jalen Suggs has been outstanding. Wendell Carter is making Jalen Duren look like a child.
People are saying that Jamal Cain needs to be arrested after his action.
Yeah, it's embarrassing that this number 1 seed, and this doesn't even feel like a number 1.
It doesn't.
Number 8. This feels like a 4 or 5.
Yeah.
And Actually, no, I'm sorry. This feels like a 1-8 seed, but the other way.
Yeah. Like, let's be honest.
Franz Wagner not playing, it doesn't matter.
The real number 1 seed in the East was Boston. It really is. And the 2 seed feels like Cleveland.
Yeah.
Yeah. And Detroit's just
even with your 3 seed Knicks not looking like they may not beat the Hawks, which I did predict in I called that in our prediction episode.
Boston is beating Philly at the moment.
Yeah, Boston's gonna smoke them. It's series over. I truly think there's 2 series ending tonight. Boston and then San Antonio's gonna close out.
Yeah, I do. Yeah, that's exactly what's gonna happen. But now the Lakers are up 3-1 on the Rockets and are expected to close out the series tomorrow. Do you think that this series is over in Game 5?
100%. Especially because I'm reading that there's a chance Kevin Durant doesn't play again. I'm sorry. With Kevin Durant, I don't think they beat the Lakers. Without him, they should.
There's no chance they beat.
They needed LeBron to have an atrocious shooting night and for DeAndre Ayton to get fouled out for them to win that game. And it was a decisive win, but like it literally took probably one of the worst games from all their best players.
Mm-hmm.
2 for 9 from LeBron, 3 for 8 from Marcus Smart, 3 for 8 from Luke Kennard. Rui Hachimura had a decent game, 6 or 10. DeAndre Ayton was balling out until he got fouled out.
Yeah.
LeBron has a half as bad of a shooting night. The Lakers already closed the series out.
Yeah. Okay. And now the next 2 topics we're going to talk about are exactly why we will not promote sports gambling if we ever get an opportunity to get an endorsement from a sports betting company, because Damon Jones pleaded guilty for his role in selling insider information to sports bettors and participating in a mafia organized poker scheme. He pled guilty to 2 counts of conspiracy to commit wire fraud for his roles in the cases. And Terry Rozier could face additional charges related to the gambling scheme. He is facing 2 federal wire fraud charges after he was arrested and indicted for his role. He allegedly told De Niro Laster that he would exit the game early in March 2023 when he was playing for Charlotte. Lasters then sold that information to sports bettors. A motion was filed Monday to dismiss his initial charges, and the judge did not rule in the motion and the lawyers said that there is not enough evidence against Terry Rozier and that these claims are false as to why they want the charges dismissed.
So, for me, as someone who has, indulged in sports betting in my life, I fully have, I don't know if everyone knows this, Bryce, you know this, I've fully given it up. I have completely stopped. That is something I no longer partake in any way. I am completely disgusted by this. First off, sports betting itself, it's a lose-lose. You never, no matter what, if you win a big one, you're going to lose your next one. Mm-hmm. It is not a way to make income. Just get a job, first off. It is not a way to fulfill your life. So sports betting overall is just not worth it. And then to watch these sports heavily promoted. I'm talking in the middle of games, you can see what's the trend for LeBron James's 3-point attempts? How many points is Franz Wagner going to score? Is Donovan Mitchell going to go 30 plus? Is DeAndre Ayton going to have 9 rebounds? And then to have Giannis be a stakeholder in call sheet, it's despicable to me. And I'm sorry that sports betting overall, it's sad. It preys on the people who think they can become millionaires through it. Mm-hmm. Like you and I, when I came to visit you in LA, we both used a free bet that we were given on Sleeper, and we didn't put a single dollar in after that. Because we're like, hey, it's not worth it. But there's a lot of people who have this itch and think they become millionaires, think they can become the next, I don't know, who cares about gambling people? And that's the thing, you don't know any celebrities who are built off gambling because it's not a thing. The house always wins. So this is despicable. Bryce, you're 100% right. If we ever get an offer from any of these companies, we're shutting it down right away because it's despicable. And sports betting I feel bad for anyone who has the addiction to it because I understand the way it feels. But, it's hard and it's so rough and I despise it.
Okay, so now we're going to move on to the NCAA basketball because I saw this today and I was just absolutely baffled. The NCAA has initiated the final steps to expand March Madness to 76 teams.
I hate this. They are just finding a way to take one of the most amazing traditions in all of sports and make it where they can make more money.
Like 64 was perfect. I think 64 should have stayed the way it should. 68 was good, but 76 I feel like is going to be entirely too much because now you're going to get teams that actually don't deserve to be in there, getting in there. Teams that don't win their conference, teams that don't win. You know what it is? It's really a ploy to get more power teams in the power four teams in the tournament.
Too many big names missed the tournament this year. And what bothers me is this right here is going to take away from the really fun Cinderella stories we see. Instead of them being an 11 versus, I don't know, 11 versus what, 5 seed?
6.
11 versus 6 seed. It's going to be an 8 versus 9. Like, you no longer see these really fun stories like Oral Roberts. Like, it really takes away. And it's kind of hard to enjoy because we all love March Madness. It is one of the most amazing times of the year. It's actually fun to watch your bracket get busted by a mid-American school who no one's ever heard of and a Jack Golke.
Yeah.
So it sucks because you're taking away this opportunity. So you can put in more big names. God, we need more blue bloods. Look at who our freaking look who our finals was. Like what? UConn and Houston, or sorry, UConn and Michigan.
Yeah.
It takes away the absolute joy of a timeless tradition.
Yeah.
It's almost as bad as the 12-team playoff.
It's what makes college basketball so magic is that we have March Madness, and it is called March Madness for a reason because nobody knows exactly what will happen. It's literally the crapshoot of all crapshoots when it comes to postseason play. Yes, you have your upsets in the NBA, like what's about to happen with the Magic and the Pistons. They're about to become the fourth 8th seed ever, I think, to win a playoff series. And then you have, obviously, the MLB that has upsets, the NFL that has upsets, but March Madness is where you get all your upsets. That's where you get all the upsets. And you're doing this, you're muddying the water to give the bigger Power 4 schools a chance that really don't deserve it to get in. And then your small mid-major teams are going to get the short end of the stick. They're going to get screwed.
You know, I think there's a lot of and they should have taken notice from the college football playoff where the first round matchups were awful. Mm-hmm. There really was no one watching them because we knew what was going to happen. And I'm sorry, when you're about to watch Florida or Houston or Duke go up against a team that no one has ever heard of because they managed to sneak in and they lose by 60, like who cares? Like this is where you take away something really fun and just monetize the hell out of it. And it's so frustrating. Like, let us enjoy 64 teams going at it. Because once again, you add these extra 12 teams in, you're just going to take away some really fun matchups we never expected to see.
Yeah. And you're right. And it sucks that that the sports world is turning into how much money we can make while screwing everybody else in the process, and stop making sports fun how it used to be fun. But next, we're going to talk about another issue, and that is in the gambling world. Texas Tech transfer QB Brendan Sorsby is checking into a residential treatment program for a gambling addiction. He is under NCAA investigation in the wake of a discovery of him making thousands of bets via a gambling app. According to ESPN sources, he bet on Indiana while redshirting for IU as a true freshman in 2022, in which he played a single game as a reserve. The bets were on IU to win, and none of them came in a game in which...
Yeah, you know, this kind of speaks on to what we just talked about before. It's addiction. Like, gambling can be as just addictive as smoking or drinking. And I'm obviously a lot of prayers for Brendan and his family. I think for him checking himself in, it's a really good thing to do. I mean, he was a true freshman in 2022, which means he doesn't have a lot of eligibility left. But he understands what's better is to take care of himself, and I respect that.
Yeah, and we're not going to really go into it in depth because we went in depth with Damon Jones and Terry Rozier. But yeah, no, we hope that Brendan Sorsby gets better, and goes down the right path.
But Bryce, this next topic, it's going to piss you off, so I'm going to let you handle it.
Most of the MLB stuff is centered around this, because the one right after it directly correlates to it. The Phillies fire manager Rob Thompson after a 9-19 start. Don Mattingly will be the interim GM for the rest of the season. He will be working under his son Preston, who is the GM, working under President of Baseball Operations, Dave Dombrowski, or should I say Dave Dombrowski, because he's a stupid idiot, for the stupid moves he makes. The Phillies have lost 11 of their last 12 games. And Ranger Suarez allowed 1 hit, no runs, walked 1, and struck out 10 in 8 innings in a 5-0 win over Toronto last night. And I say this because Ranger Suarez was a Philly, and he's been a long-time Philly. And Dave Dombrowski decides to let him go. He signs with Boston, struggles out of the gate. Everybody thinks it was a terrible signing by Boston, and he started to turn it up. He started to turn it on, and we see this now. And the Phillies are bottom 3 in everything right now. This is the highest payroll the Phillies have ever had. They're tied for the worst record in baseball. They're bottom 3 in contact, bottom 3 in home runs, bottom 3 in RBI, bottom 3 in walks, bottom 3 in getting on base, bottom 3 in ERA, bottom 3 in everything. And you know it's bad when Alex Cora, the old manager of the Red Sox, was offered the job and he didn't want it. And
Bryce handled that.
We talked last week about how the Mets were terrible. I have been, and I was told I was overreacting after Game 3, when Rob Thompson pulls Justin Crawford, rests him, sits him down, because he thinks that Justin Crawford, after the 3rd game in his MLB career, needs a rest because he's tired. No! He is a rookie. He is one of the top 5 prospects in baseball. You do not sit him for absolutely no reason. His reason, we think he's better. We don't think he's that great against lefties. Guess what? He has been lighting up lefties all year.
Not just that. How do you think he develops?
Yeah, and then the whole Taijuan Walker thing. Taijuan Walker has sucked every single outing this year. And he still kept getting start after start after start after start. And eventually, they released him. Good. I'm glad they released him. But you also bring in Adolis Garcia, who was actually playing like garbage. Adolis Garcia is so bad. Otto Kemp cannot field. And they've already addressed that. He's not fielding anymore. But then you let Nick Castellanos walk. A fan favorite of the Phillies. Guess where he goes? He signs with the Padres. You know what their record is right now? 19-9. Their record is 19-9. And I get he's batting 154, but he hit 2 runs in the other night. He batted in 2 runs the other night.
And the Padres really look phenomenal.
Yeah, and you don't think right now, Dave Dombrowski, that Nick Castellanos would be valuable to the Phillies right now. Because Kyle Schwarber still can't figure out how to bat. Bryce Harper still can't figure out how to bat. Trey Turner still cannot figure out how to bat. The only upside they have right now is Justin Crawford. The 3rd highest payroll in baseball. And you're tied for the worst record in the league with the Mets.
Yeah, honestly, they're the only 2 teams that don't have more than 10 wins right now.
Even you are worse than the White Sox. You are worse than the Rockies.
I didn't think that was
the Orioles.
White Sox, to be honest.
You are worse than all of those teams.
The Astros?
They're worse than the Astros. The Cubs. The Royals. They're worse than the Diamondbacks. The Marlins. Of all teams to be worse than you're worse than the Marlins, the bottom feeders of the NL East.
Speaking of Alex Cora. So, the Red Sox fired manager Alex Cora after going 10-17, and on the same day, they beat the Orioles 17-1. They also fired their hitting coach, Peter Fatz, bench coach, Ramon Vasquez, and game planning coach, Jason Vartic. They're 2-0 since all those firings. Bryce, does this speak more on who the Red Sox are as a team or how bad the Orioles were?
And I talked about this the other day on TikTok about how maybe the problem in Boston was never Rafael Devers at all. Because people clowned the Red Sox when that trade was made. And they said, no, people clowned the Giants when that trade was made, when the Giants struggled out of the gate when they got Rafael Devers. And guess what? The Giants right now are a better team than the Boston Red Sox are. And yes, Boston just won the last 2 games, and I think that this is good for them. I think that they're going to get on the right track. But I do think that the issue in Boston was this coaching staff and was this managerial staff. As you can see, they fired 4 guys, and they're 2-0 since. And the guy and their big pitcher they signed in the offseason is finally starting to play well.
That's enough said on that.
Okay, now this is not in there, but we're going to talk about just the Flyers-Penguins series right now because the Flyers were up 3-0, thought the series was over, and now it's 3-2. You think that the Flyers are going to blow this series?
I sure do. Hey, and I saw those comments on TikTok from that one guy trashing my Penguins. But it's 3-2. It's not over yet. I think the Penguins have the momentum. I'm going to go. Give me a 3-0 comeback. Game 7. I'm taking Pittsburgh. I was just up there for the draft last weekend. Man, that energy. People love their team. I'm going Pittsburgh in 7.
No, they deserve nothing less than just losing and getting blown out in Game 6 after their disgraceful acts of chanting F the Flyers. The class act team of the NHL. You're
talking about class act. Philadelphia threw
of the
Philadelphia threw snowballs at Santa.
The best city in hockey. The most beautiful stadium in hockey.
You're high.
The Penguins deserve nothing but to lose their team because of it. The classless act that the Penguins did. That the Pittsburgh fans did. Alrighty. Now, the fun part. Because we're going to talk about the NFL. This is the bread and butter. This has been the bread and butter of our whole podcast. Because our first episode was AFC and NFC previews. And we're going to keep it going. Because the Jets are bringing in Russell Wilson for a visit and are considering him to be Geno Smith's backup. Meaning, if this happens, has come full circle to where Russell Wilson is now backing up Geno. What do you think this does for Klubnik?
I don't think he backs him up.
It happens. You don't think so? Because they still have Brady Cook, and now they still have Carson or Cade Klubnik.
I don't think they bring him in. I think that is a lot of talk. I don't foresee Russell Wilson actually signing with a team till probably midseason when we see injuries happen. And I think Russell Wilson's smart enough to know that. So I think he holds off and he sees if any team wants to bring him in. But I don't think the Jets bring him in. I wouldn't be surprised if we see Cade Klubnik play at some point this season.
Yeah, I think so too. I do think Cade Klubnik will play at one point this season. I think Tyrod Taylor gets on the field. I think Geno Smith will start. And I think the only way Geno Smith loses this job is if he gets hurt. I don't think he
was atrocious last year. I don't think he's going to be any better.
Yeah, but the Pete Carroll Raiders were just atrocious in general.
I just think that this is the worst run team. This is the worst coach team in the NFL. The only reason they won the amount of games they did is because I don't even know. They got very lucky.
Alrighty. Next, we have a really baffling one because Diego Pavia signs with the Ravens on a 3-year deal after going undrafted in the NFL draft for a reason. The fact that this cup right here is taller than Diego Pavia. This cup right here could probably throw farther than Diego Pavia. This cup right here could probably run faster than Diego Pavia. And guess what this cup will not do? Run his damn mouth about things about him Diego Pavia is the most irrelevant human in NFL history. He is the biggest ego for such a tiny human that has never achieved anything in his entire life.
You know, I'm going to take a different mindset on this. I agree Diego Pavia is not the talented quarterback he thinks he is, but I also think he's a young guy. I think he has an ego because he worked his butt off to get to where he is. Do I think he is going to be challenging Lamar in any way? No, I don't think he's going to be challenging for a backup role. But I do think he's going to be someone who's going to be a great scout team quarterback. I think he has the ability to replicate other quarterbacks we've seen. What was that?
You think he'll accept that?
He's going to have to, or else he's going to be out of the league. I think no matter what, he's been given a chance, a 3-year deal while it's obviously going to end up being a practice squad role, I think he's going to have a chance, and I don't think we'll ever see him be a starter, especially not in Baltimore. But I think he has a potential to be a good backup, but I don't think he'll ever do anything past that. I hope he gets his ego in check, and I hope he recognizes he's not the player he actually thinks he is and accepts his role, but we'll see from there.
Okay, now another head case, but somebody who's actually kind of backed up their head caseness. The 49ers and other teams are having trouble reaching Brandon Ayuk as San Francisco explores trade option.
Yeah, we all saw Brandon Ayuk had a really good season or two. I think he was more better because the system he had instead of his actual talent. I think we're going to see Brandon Ayuk get released. I don't think there's any team that's going to be dumb enough to trade for him. I don't even know if he gets signed before the season starts. He's just too much of a hassle for the talent he doesn't bring you.
It's like I almost
said, the injury he's still overcoming. I just don't know he's worth the time.
It's like I almost said Brandon Ayuk wasn't even a number 3 receiver on the team, but everybody called me crazy.
We're actually going to talk about the real number 2 receiver on the team next.
Okay, now Jawan Jennings is visiting the Vikings today. What do you think? Do you think he signs with the Vikings? And if so, do you think it's a good move?
I think he needs to sign. He's a much better receiver than he's given credit for. I do think he is talented. I think he has another bit of an ego issue. So I think that if he signs with Minnesota, he's not going to be happy because he's not better than Jordan Addison and it's definitely not better than Justin Jefferson. He'll be their number 3. So if he can accept that, I think this is an awesome move. Honestly, I think a team like the Raiders should probably sign him because if he wants to be a number 1, he has to go somewhere that has no real talent.
I agree with that. Jawan Jennings has proven that he's going to be a starting receiver after his massive breakout 2023 season, and then he was still solid last year. And then but this is a guy who I think can still be a starter. What level of starting receiver is he? It depends on where he goes, but I do think that this is a good move for anybody to pick him up wherever he goes.
I agree.
Next, before we move on to the NFL draft, Jermaine Burton has been invited to the Bills rookie camp. This was a guy who was a 3rd-round pick in the 2024 draft to Cincinnati, but off-the-field issues have prevented him from staying on the field. What do you think this does if he were to make the Bills roster?
To be honest, I don't know much about that guy. I'm not sure what all is going on with him, so I don't think I can bring too much to him. I think the Bills could use any talent they can get if any young player can turn out, but I just don't know what he's done all this off the field.
He's a lot of legal issues. Okay. Next, that undrafted thing is too long, so we're not going to go into it. But it's just every UDFA signing.
We're not reading all that.
We're not reading all of it. But we're going to move on to our NFL draft portion where we're going to talk about the draft. We're going to talk about our teams with the best draft, teams with the worst draft, biggest sleeper, biggest reach, bust / disappointment / what the hell, and then our biggest X factor. So we're going to start with obviously teams with the best draft. One of my teams that had the best draft is Carolina. At pick 19, they picked Monroe Freeling, who is an offensive tackle, and then they picked the next Derek Brown in Lee Hunter in the 2nd round. They picked Chris Brazzell, who's going to be the new number 3 in Carolina, and he's going to make Bryce Young's day a whole hell of a lot easier. We have the most underrated corner in the draft out of Texas A&M in Will Lee. The new starting center, the Cade Mays replacement in Sam Hecht in round 5, pick 144. And then at pick 151, Zakee Wheatley. And then Jackson Kawach at round 7.
I think that Carolina had a very good draft. To be honest, I don't consider it one of the best drafts. It was good and all. I don't know if you can say a 5th-round center is your new starting center.
He will be.
To be honest, for me, I would say Dallas had a much better draft than Carolina. Carolina had a good one, but I don't think they addressed as much need as they should have. So for me, I'm going to put Dallas over Carolina here.
And my other team with the best draft, I had Philadelphia. Obviously, Mekhi Lemon, Eli Stowers, Markel Bell, Cole Payton, which that was the kind of the question mark. They still have Andy Dalton, but I guess they need a 3rd quarterback. They have guard Micah Morris, Cole Wisniewski around 7. This is the Eagles' steal of the draft right here in round 7. Defensive tackle Uar Bernard out of the International Pathway Program, 6'4", 306, a 4.6 340, and 6% body fat. And he's never played a down in football. But guess what? The Eagles know how to develop their international pathway players. Jordan Mailata. And then their last pick was Keyshawn James Newby.
Yeah, I can't argue with that. I think Philly had a fantastic draft. I was actually in attendance when they drafted Uar. There was a lot of people who were confused, but obviously you don't know much about the guy until you hear the name called and they hear about him. But wow, fantastic players. I think Malachi Lemon probably was their best draft pick by far. To steal him from the Pittsburgh crowd was actually hilarious. But I really like it. I think this was a great draft from an always fantastic team. And I actually really like the Cole Payton move. Really, really underrated quarterback in this draft. And I think someone who we could really see end up taking their number 2 spot.
I mean, NDSU quarterbacks don't ever belong in the NFL.
All right, so let's move on to the teams with the worst draft.
I have the Rams, and it's not for the reason everybody thinks. I do. I think Ty Simpson, I think that's a good pick. I don't love the move of Max Clare. I think they have Terrence Ferguson, but I know that the Rams love to use 4 tight ends in the field at one time. They have Keegan Trost. Then they have receiver CJ Daniels around 6, and then defensive tackle Tim Keenan in round 7. I get their draft wasn't great because they didn't address their biggest area of need still, even though they signed 2 corners in the offseason. I still think corner is a big area of need for them.
Yeah, I wholeheartedly agree. We saw how JSN kind of dissected them when they played. To me, this proves that they're not sure what they're doing. Les Snead has always been a great GM, but I think he missed the mark on this. I'm actually with you on the Ty Simpson draft. As a Packers fan, I recognized how important it is to get your quarterback of the future and to develop him behind a literal future Hall of Famer.
An MVP, a Super Bowl winner.
We've seen what happened with Jordan Love and Aaron Rodgers. I'm very okay with this to take Ty Simpson, especially when you didn't need that much help. And with 13, any cornerback you take is going to be a reach.
Yeah.
So my issue was when they didn't grab a corner into the second round. Once again, I agree. You run a lot of tight ends, but there was a lot of good corners on the board at 61. So I really don't understand the move.
And next, my other worst drafting team was another team in the NFC West, and it was Arizona. I think Jeremiah Love was a great pick. I think that is one of the best picks in the draft. However, I do think that there are other issues. Their offensive line is still a mess, and they got Chase Basantis with the second pick in the second round. However, I don't think that that's enough. They drafted possibly the worst quarterback that has ever been drafted in NFL history, and a guy that should be banned from the NFL before he even gets in. Carson Beck in round 3. And then they drafted Caleb Proctor in round 4. Reggie Virgil in round 5, Carson Scharer in round 6, and Jaden Williams in round 7. They still have corner issues. Why are NFC West teams avoiding drafting corners if you're not Seattle when you have JSN in that division? And the Rams have Puka and Devontae Adams. The Seahawks have JSN and Cooper Kupp.
I have to agree with you wholeheartedly. I love the Jeremiah Love pickup. I actually really like the Caleb Proctor move. I was super confused when I saw that Carson Beck was drafted by them. Not saying he's a bad quarterback, but I looked at him as more of a 4th or a 5th round talent.
I think there's a guy who didn't want him.
To be honest, a quarterback who was drafted a little bit later than him, in my opinion, was better. It was a better pickup, but we'll talk about him at some point. But I did not like Arizona's draft outside of Jeremiah Love.
Who do you think had the worst draft?
To me, I would say Green Bay. As much as I love my team, not taking Jermod McCoy when he was on the board just upset me. And then also not taking him in the 3rd round or the 4th round. Don't get me wrong. I really like their move. I think drafting Brandon Seiss was a good move, but I think you can get a higher
still better. But I get the injury concerns with Jermod McCoy. But round 4, he's a first-round corner, regardless.
And to me, Green Bay had a lot of areas of need that they just kind of ignored.
They should have addressed receiver also. Probably still should have addressed receiver.
To kind of watch them. And I'm sorry, you took a kicker in the 6th round. Your final pick of the draft.
KD's out tonight. Or tomorrow.
Is it?
KD is out tomorrow. Yeah.
Wow. Okay. The breaking news from Bryce: Kevin Durant will not be playing tomorrow, which almost locks in a Lakers series win. But to watch Green Bay just kind of use a pick on a kicker as the sixth round. I get it. McManus sucked, but you already have a kicker on your
Lucas
roster
Havrisik.
who was significantly better. I mean, you have a kicker who broke the franchise record, and you didn't play the guy. So to draft a kicker who we don't really know much about, yes, he missed a single extra point in his career, which is awesome. But I just felt like Green Bay could have done a lot better.
Okay, now it's time to move on to the steal of the draft, because my steal of the draft is the Pittsburgh Steelers in the 7th round, pick 230, fullback / running back out of Navy, Pittsburgh native Eli Heidenreich. This guy is an absolute dog. 941 receiving yards from out of the backfield for a team that doesn't pass the ball in Navy is absolutely insane. This is a guy who's going to make everybody miss. This is a guy who is going to be potentially stealing Jalen Warren's job in the
When
future.
it comes to
Could be.
these surprise running backs, Pittsburgh always hits on them. So do not be surprised, if by next season Eli Heidenreich is their starter. I kept mentioning I was in Pittsburgh. I did go to the draft. I've already mentioned it twice now. I was there when this pick was made. Dear God, did they erupt? I think it might have been a louder noise than their first rounder. In all honesty.
Maxi Natur? Yeah.
Yeah, it might have been louder than their first round pick. I mean, the guy, he's cool. I saw him walking around. He was greeting people. You can tell he is excited, and that guy's a dog. I'm saying, if you come from those military schools, you're going to be crazy good.
Yeah. Okay, now, who is your steal of the draft?
Ruben Bain, what an absolute
Projected to be a
beast
top
of
5
player
pick, falls
he
to
is.
15.
What was that?
Projected top 5 pick, falls to pick 15.
What a beast of a player he is, and the fact that he fell to an already pretty good defense in Tampa Bay, I'm scared for Bryce Young and Tyler Shuck this year.
Hey, back up. Hold on.
I think another potential steal. Bryce had a near escape from his cat.
I didn't want an escape, so I just grabbed her.
That's fair. No, for me, Ruben Bain, it has to be him.
Yeah. I think you could say Jermon McCoy also. I think there was a first round grade on him from everybody. Exclusively, you and I have both had him going in the first round. But I still do think that with the injury concerns, he should have been drafted way higher than round 4. But the Raiders got an absolute steal in that pick. My biggest reach / bust / surprise of the draft, Arizona Cardinals 3rd round pick, 65, Carson Beck. Why do people like this guy? Carson Beck is a guy who proved absolutely nothing in college. You won because you played on literally college NFL team. You played on an NFL team in college, a team that had seemingly every player at their position get drafted. Ruben, you go to Miami, same thing. A team that is riddled with talent. And yes, you go to the national championship because you get carried there. You've been to 3 national championship games because you got carried. You did absolutely nothing. And you're also you are a douche. No, absolutely not. Carson Beck, if I was drafting a team, he would be ranked below that were 2 feet tall. He would be absolutely undraftable. Yeah, Diego Pavia. I would draft Diego Pavia before I would draft Carson Beck.
I can see it. I don't think he's going to be the bust everyone thinks. He's a 3rd round pick. For me, my reach of the draft is Keelan Rutledge, ranked 58th, and you take him 26. I get it. You want to grab talent, but literally 2 picks later, Caleb Lomu.
Yeah.
I just don't understand how the Texans make that mistake. Once again, we're looking at Caleb Lomu, 28th rank. You can go into the 2nd round and see tackles who were ranked higher than him taken. I just don't understand it. Let me see. Chase Bisontis.
Yeah, the Cardinals.
Ranked better. Let me see. Another guard. You can go into the 3rd round and see guards who are rated higher than him. Or not a guard, but you can see 3rd round guards rated higher than him. So I don't understand why a potential fit for a 3rd round pick is taken in the 1st round. And I'm sorry, you must love it because you hate the Texans, but if you want to protect CJ Stroud, you get a better player than that.
Yeah. So my X factor of the draft And I don't know why I didn't put this team if I have both of them having an X factor and the steal. Outside the draft, I have the Pittsburgh Steelers 3rd round pick 76, quarterback Drew Aller. Drew Aller is probably the best passer in this draft. He has a lot of issues that he needs to work on. He needs to get healthy. He did not play healthy last year. Him and Cade Klubnik were dealing with injuries, and Garrett Nussmeier were dealing with injuries that solely tanked their draft stock. And Drew Aller is a guy that if he gets a chance to be the face of the franchise in Pittsburgh, this pains me to say it because he's a terrible... He went to the worst college school of all time, but...
We are.
Nothing. Nothing. We are losers. We are suck state.
Screw you.
But if he is the Steelers, quite frankly, Drew Aller, stand on business. Don't put that hat on. Don't put that hat on. You're from Cleveland. Don't put that hat on. Don't.
Should he hold out and not play?
No, he should, but stand on business. You grew up a Browns fan. Stay a Browns.
It's kind of funny. We both went quarterbacks, but for me, I went with the first pick of the 6th round, Taylon Green. We have seen the Browns shift through quarterbacks like crazy. Deshaun Watson, I'm sorry, he'll never be the quarterback he was again. I don't foresee him having more than 3 games. Shedeur Sanders was all right, but he's just not a really good quarterback. Dylan Gabriel, bro, you can put him in the ether. I would not be surprised if Taylon Green takes that starting job and runs with it. Yeah, I forgot you don't like Dylan Gabriel.
Dylan Gabriel is my starting quarterback in Dynasty Fantasy at some point last year.
But I would not be surprised if Taylon Green
put him in the ether is wild.
Taylon Green. I'm trying to make a point. Stop making me laugh, man. Taylon Green was a very underrated prospect coming out of the draft. I think a lot of people had him as a potentially undrafted player. So to see him go in the 6th, I'm excited. I think he does make this team. I really wouldn't be surprised if we see one of the rookies from last year get cut, and I think it has to be Dylan Gabriel or traded. So yeah, I'm saying Taylon Green is my X factor of the draft.
That's a good pick. I like Taylon Green. I think I kind of warmed you up to Taylon Green even before the draft started. But anyways, that's going to do it. If you guys liked our podcast, as always, you know what to do. Like, comment, subscribe. Use code 2BrosPodcast at w.gg for 10% off your first purchase. Also, my cat Tortellini is in a cat calendar. There's an animal calendar. So go ahead. I think it's paw prints. Go ahead and find the June 2020, March 2027 calendar. May 2027. She's March 2027. Go ahead, buy that calendar. Go ahead. Supporting my cat. My cat is a cat mod. My cat is a calendar model now. So go ahead and support my cat. Tortellini. But anyways, that's going to do it. If you guys like this video, you know what to do. Like, comment, subscribe. You have anything else you want to say before we wrap for the week?
No, I know this is a longer podcast, so I'm going to let everyone get back to their days.
We didn't even talk wrestling, but we could have talked wrestling. Anyways, we'll see you guys next week.